Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm gonna be doing some weekly news roundup to update our viewers of the events that have taken place during the week, and just to update us on, so we can catch up on what has gone on in the week. The week has been quite interesting, mostly internationally, I would say, because Nigeria, the president is away, and quite a lot of activities are a little bit slow. This appears to be the slow season, as they call it. In the UK, they call it slow season, where people are on holidays, and politics is not very hot in Nigeria, apart from the very dark man and Bobrisky Falana issues that are being discussed. So this is something I think I want to cover today. You must have seen the headlines that I put up there. The hot ones are the Yahya Sinwar this thing dying from the hands of the Israelis, because they've been looking for him for a long time. He's said to be the mastermind behind the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel by Hamas. He's a Hamas leader. So this week, I think that was 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, or a day ago. Yesterday actually. It depends on how you read it. He was a kind of, they just stumbled across him. There was no intelligence, nothing. They stumbled across him, and so that's that. Anyway, that's just one of the headlines, and I will be covering that later on. There is also the news about the World Bank, saying that there are about 129 million poor people in Nigeria now. At the same time, saying that the federal government should keep up with what they are doing. So that is that. I will be covering that too. There is the matter of our chief of army staff not being in the country. One more of our top officials overseas, if I'm not mistaken, in the UK too. So this is one area I will be covering today. So that's just one of them. And there is also the Fox News Harris interview. I'll be covering that too, and a few others. Sudan has also been suspended from the African Union. Sudan has been suspended from the African Union, and there are also some other areas like Trump looking for support from I think Nikki Haley. He's looking for support from Nikki Haley, so that with the trouble he's having with women, people in some American women don't seem to like him because of some of the things he's been saying about women. So they are not very happy with him. So that is one of the areas I will be talking about. I will be going through the videos. So to just start with, I will start with the Hamas leader getting caught by the Israelis. So let's start off with that. I will pull this up now so we can start covering some of these news. And now So this one is for the Hamas leader that was caught by accident. So let's just play it so you can, go through it, and we'll talk about it for a bit, and then we'll move on. All right.
The war on Gaza. This is Inside Story.
If you cannot hear it, please alert me to it. If you cannot hear it, put on the chat that you cannot hear it. But if you can hear it, that is fine. You don't need to alert me. Thank you.
Hello again, I'm James Bays. Yahya Sinwar was the face of the Palestinian armed struggle against Israel's decades-long occupation. He became the leader of Hamas after the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran in July. The Israeli military says Sinwar was killed during a firefight with Israeli forces in southern Gaza on Wednesday. Israel's prime minister praised his killing and called it the beginning of the end of the war on Gaza. But how will this affect the ceasefire efforts and the fate of the Israeli captives? And what's it mean for the Palestinian resistance? We'll put that to our guests in a moment. But first, this report from Alex Baird.
This is what the Israeli army says was Yahya Sinwar's final moments. The leader of Hamas in a bombed-out building in Rafah throwing a stick at a surveillance drone. Moments later, Israel says he was killed by Israeli troops. It was a death the leader had expected years earlier.
The greatest gift the enemy and the occupation could give me is to assassinate me and allow me to die a hero at their hands.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the killing as a milestone, but promised to continue the war on Gaza.
I would like to say again, in the clearest way, Hamas will no longer rule Gaza. This is the beginning of the day after Hamas, and this is an opportunity for you, the residents of Gaza, to finally break free from this tyranny. To the Hamas terrorists I say, your leaders are fleeing and they will be eliminated. I call on everyone who holds our hostages, whoever lays down his weapons and returns our hostages, we will allow him to go on living.
For many in Gaza, Yahya Sinwar died a hero.
The killing of the leader Yahya Sinwar is a heavy blow for the Palestinian people. Netanyahu won't stop. We know that. All the Palestinian people are targeted, not only Sinwar, because every day there are massacres.
But his death does little to change the reality for millions of Palestinians in Gaza who face starvation, relentless Israeli bombing, and repeated forced displacement.
To those who are crying for the Israeli captives, to them we say, those captives cannot return to you until and unless the war on Gaza comes to a halt and our Palestinian detainees released.
And while many Israelis celebrated the death of Sinwar, protesters in Tel Aviv didn't let the news derail their near-daily rallies demanding their government do more to agree to a ceasefire deal that will release the captives still held in Gaza.
A lot of chances that were missed, and we cannot miss this opportunity. We must bring them now, immediate, because we are saying it again and again, but I think this is the very last chance to bring them back.
Many international leaders say they hope Sinwar's death will lead to the end of Israel's war on Gaza and ease the suffering of Palestinians. But Israel has been clear, this is not the end. Alex Baird, Al Jazeera, for Inside Story.
Is known to most of us as.
So as you can see, the Hamas leader was caught, not as a result of intelligence gathering or anything like that. He was just stumbled upon, and they kind of got him in an apartment. And obviously, Israelis, they go with all kinds of guns blazing. Anybody, whether you are a foot soldier or you are a captain of the terrorist organization, as they term it, they go with all guns blazing. So they basically fired a shell into the building where he was after he's been injured. Then they went home. I think some say they went back and came back the next day to check to see. Then that's when they discovered that it was him. They didn't know at first. Then, other reports say that they went in there after they shot, and then they discovered that that's the terrorist, as they term it, looks like Yahya Sinwar. So then they reported back to base, and then the Israelis were, I think anybody that has an eye could tell that that was probably him, but officially they were not confirming it until later on, before they confirmed the information using his DNA and data record to confirm that he was the one. And obviously, it hasn't changed much, apart from Netanyahu being seen as a hero in Israel, and obviously Israel feeling very, very confident and on a war path. The Palestinians also defiant, but it's a blow, as they say. So, I mean, nobody has ever said anything like that. This is not a serious setback for Hamas. So I think it's a blow for Hamas, and a blow for the cause, because it's a sad story when a cause that is so worthy of fighting for, which is your freedom, becomes tainted with terrorism. You see what I mean? So, and I don't know how somebody wants to resist occupation and fight for your freedom, and you decide to go and start breaking the law, even when there is some parts of the law that supports you resisting violently. So why do the things that is going to make you a terrorist instead? It doesn't make sense to me. Yahya Sinwar, I think they did ask him that. I think I saw a video of a lady, the last journalist that interviewed him, asked him this question about why this thing, why is it that he's doing what he does? And he was like, you can't expect victims of occupation to behave. We cannot be the ideal victim of occupation, something like that. Like the victims should not be expected to be in ideal. They cannot be expected to behave in an ideal way. But I would have thought that should be your job as a leader. It's your job to try to restrain yourself to behave in an ideal way instead of acting barbarically, especially in a world where you have rules. You want to be able to do something, and people will be like, okay, yeah, you are legitimately doing what the law allows you to do. As a people that is being oppressed, as a people that is being occupied, you have a right to resist. But you shouldn't go and start terrorizing people. You shouldn't go and start killing civilians. That is not part of the law, and I don't know why they do this thing. So personally, I just think that it takes away from the legitimate grievances that they have. But that is that, and I just hope our people learn some things from that too. There are certain ways you can do things, and there are ways you can do it, and you just get yourself into unnecessary wahala. We have examples all over the country in Nigeria and many of our communities. So that is the matter relating to Yahya Sinwar. Now I will go to the next one is about the World Bank. Saying that Nigerians have one of the highest what they call it 129 million poor people living in poverty now, and at the same time saying that the Nigerian government should stay the course. I don't know where they got the 129 figures from. So that is from the World Bank. So I'll play this video so you can see. All right, go ahead. Let me play the video.
Nigeria Development Update Report. What is the headline? A $5.9 billion surge in foreign exchange reserves, signaling the early successes of the country's reforms. But while there's progress, there are also pressing challenges, including soaring inflation and the urgent need for more profound structural changes. Arise News correspondent Nkechi Nana reports.
Since May 2023, Nigeria has implemented bold reforms to avert a looming fiscal crisis. These efforts have brought about modest economic growth, rising foreign exchange reserves, and a healthier fiscal position. According to the latest Worldbank Nigeria Development Update report, this signals that the country's economic reforms are starting to pay off a little. While the macroeconomic indicators show improvement, The report, titled Staying the Course: Progress Amid Pressing Challenges, recognizes that households are still grappling with inflationary pressures. Rising gasoline prices and devastating floods have pushed inflation up once again in September 2024. And it is this reality that the World Bank warns must be urgently addressed.
We know that many Nigerians are struggling with high inflation and rising cost of living. So progress is real, but so are the struggles of many citizens, which the team actually will elaborate on later. The report's message is clear. We need to stick to the plan and keep moving forward. Turning back or opposing the reforms would only make things worse. Staying the course is essential for securing a better future for all Nigerians. But the effort must be accompanied by reforms enabling the private sector to create more and better jobs with targeted support to youth and the women.
So, where do we go from here? The report lays out a roadmap for Nigeria's government. First, the central bank must stay the course with its tight monetary policy until inflation is firmly under control. And the foreign exchange market must continue to reflect true market conditions. To reduce risk, the World Bank advises the government to maintain the removal of false subsidies and eliminate wasteful spending.
And the key message is really that in the macroeconomic and fiscal data, we are starting to see clear early indications that the policy direction that the government has been on is starting to show results with reduced fiscal pressure, with monetary policy stabilization, and with support to the process of really rebuilding confidence in the Naira. So the key message coming from that is the importance of staying the course on this reform direction. And we have a whole array of more specific recommendations for interested readers.
Reacting to the World Bank report, the Bauchi State Governor emphasizes that government policies must deliver tangible results for the people.
This thing should be well structured, and the achievement in that area should be tangible. Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians, must benefit. It must reduce cost. Inflation has gone very high. It has made nonsense all the wages and salaries being collected.
As Nigeria navigates this crucial period of reform, the world watches to see how the country stays the course and manages the complex balance between growth, inflation, and the welfare of its citizens. Nkechi Nana, Arise News.
In response to the World Bank's Nigeria Development Update report, Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardozo and Finance Minister Wale Edun reaffirmed their commitment to Nigeria's ongoing economic reforms. Governor Cardozo emphasized the need to stay the course with monetary tightening to stabilize the economy and curb inflation. He highlighted the central bank's decision to raise interest rates to a record 27.25%, stressing that preemptive rate hikes have kept inflation from spiraling out of control. Finance Minister Wale Edun echoed the central bank chief's sentiment, highlighting the significant fiscal savings from eliminating the fuel subsidy.
The key thing here is that for the first time in 40 years, the vexed issue of fuel subsidy and linked to it the foreign exchange subsidy costing 5% of GDP has gone. But if you imagine that we now have those funds back each month, each day, with market pricing of PMS, the government has money at the federal, state, and private levels and local government levels for education.
You see the voodoo economy that they are doing. He is telling us that the fuel subsidies and the foreign exchange is costing the economy 5% of GDP. The fuel subsidy is an issue of corruption, where our leaders cannot contain people that are going to steal our petrol and sell it to people next door and all the problems that follows from that. That is the problem. That's the core problem, not because subsidy itself is a problem. Because subsidy actually enables a country to be competitive. It means workers are cheaper. When people come here to do business, things are cheaper for them. So it makes the country attractive to come and invest from that point of view. But the federal government took that one off with the voodoo economics that, oh, fuel subsidy is bad, let's take it off. While other countries have it, they have subsidies in all other areas of the economy. We've taken that one off again. Then, oh, foreign exchange is bad because people are doing round tripping. Oh, round tripping is a problem, which is corruption. They should have dealt with that one, but they said the general idea of the currency being controlled is bad. When you are an importing economy, you want to float your currency, and you're listening to these crazy World Bank people as if that's how their currencies work. Then, because there are countries where the World Bank originated from, they actually do a lot of, the economy is very diversified. They can export, and they own the world economy, really. And are they even going to fail? Does the Western economy ever fall? They print money, literally print money. And they are asking you that cannot print money to do what they recommend. They give you recommendation and you buy it. America will print money and they will call it loan. What are you going to do? Their printing of money is called a loan that they will never pay back. And you want to compare yourself with them. You want to float your currency like them. And look at the suffering that Nigerians are going through now. Now, let me try to explain the best way I can. I'm not an economist, but from what I can understand about the economy, when you increase interest rate, it depresses spending. When you depreciate your currency, it depresses spending. You can't be able to buy as much stuff from overseas anymore. The only people that can buy your stuff easy is foreigners that can come into your country and buy your stuff cheaply. In other words, you are depreciating your currency for nothing. You are not gaining it. It's the foreigners that are gaining from it. If our currency is strong, we will be able to buy more stuff from foreign nations. If our currency is weak, we cannot be able to do that. And we rely on imports. So you see, that's another problem again. If the government is saying that they want to discourage us from being able to buy stuff from overseas by depreciating the currency, because that's going to make it more expensive for us to buy stuff from overseas, have you created the market at home to be able to function? In the market at home, you increased interest rates so that people cannot spend. How are they going to start doing manufacturing? You depress the economy locally, and you make it impossible for them to buy stuff from overseas. I don't understand this type of economy. I really don't. Personally, what I see is sabotage, really. These people deliberately are just torpedoing the Nigerian economy. If this economy is going to improve, it's going to be because Dangote refinery started working and somehow started reducing the demand for dollars. They use one term that I think I need to share because this is quite important. They use one term here that for the life of me, I don't know why they use that term over and over again, because I've asked people over everywhere I can. Nobody has ever given me any good reason for that term. Because that's another problem of corruption. Instead of them to say it's corruption issue, they will tell you that, it needs to be, the entire currency needs to be floated.
Conditions. To reduce risk, the World Bank advises.
Look at that. Number 2, exchange rate is unified and market driven. What is that supposed to mean? Exchange rate is unified and market driven. Market driven exchange rate, for what purpose? To what end? If you want your exchange rate to be unified, you can get it unified without depreciating your currency. And the only reason why it got unified is not because the government did anything special. They actually did something special, to be fair. What they did was they passed a law to limit the parallel market from making more than 1% profit. That is what stopped this speculation on the currency. Otherwise, this 1,500, 1,600 you are seeing for the dollar right now, it will be somewhere 1,008, maybe even 2,000. They will be that's in the parallel market. They will be selling it at that price, and the practices that so that the parallel market will be making money. The practices that led to them being able to sell those at that high profit, they will be hoarding dollars. They will be creating artificial scarcity so that they can be able to sell it at a higher rate and make money. So the issue of that corrupt practices, this government was able to deal with it by just passing one law. And they did other things to have the banks release these foreign currencies. So if that was the issue, why bother floating the interest rate in the first place? You could have just kept it where it was, then went after these people that are speculating on the currency by passing this law that they went on to pass. So the trick seems to be they will tell you there's corrupt practices going on when they have an agenda to actually make the country poorer based on a policy that they want to pursue. Like the subsidies now, one of the issues is that they say people are buying it and selling it in the black market. And all. Then why are you not chasing them? Why are you not passing laws? If you catch anybody taking this petrol out of the country, they face serious penalties. They don't do those things. And if you remove the fuel subsidies and then you take the money, what have they done with the money? They just want to share the money. There is no big stuff that they did with that money. They could have used it to build hospitals so that our chief of army staff will be inside Nigeria getting treatment now instead of Igbo country. The president every day is going to Igbo country to go and get treatment. In a world where they are putting all kinds of stuff inside pages and everything, our whole leaders, we are allowing them to just go overseas to go and sleep in Igbo man country as if there's no consequence to all these things. I don't understand it. People, I don't know what kind of economists we have in Nigeria. All these are our professors in university. What are they doing? They must know what is going on. They should be coming out and say, this is bad economic practice the president is doing. But everybody keeps quiet. And they wonder why things are going bad. Maybe all of them too have jackpot. I don't know. Let's see what's going on. Let me go to the next one. So this World Bank, this advice is terrible. And many Western countries don't follow the World Bank advice. So all this, it's only us that are following it. Look at how they're happy. World Bank is telling us that it's all right. It's a good thing. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Most Western countries don't listen to the World Bank. If they have the economic this in space, except they are going through serious financial crisis like the type that the Greeks went through. That's the only time, and because they are forced to, they don't have a choice. But Nigeria, whenever they tell us, oh, well done, boys, we go and do it. And look at our people suffering for what? For what purpose? I don't even know why we are suffering now. There's no use for the suffering. You just suffer ahead for no reason. What is he going to say is the suffering is for right now? That the money he saved, what is he doing with the money he has saved? Can somebody tell me what they have invested with the money they've saved from the currency that they are not defending anymore, from the money that they saved from what do you call it, the fuel subsidy removal? What is the gain? It's a simple question, and that question people should be asking it, because this one they keep telling us, it's going to be better. What is going to be better? The only thing that is going to be better is if you build things. And they are not building things. The only man that has built something so far is Dangote. He has given local government autonomy, which is good, but we have not seen the benefits come through at all. Maybe it's too soon. Which other stuff that he has done? The student loans. I don't know. Anybody has had anybody that has gotten the student loans? I think I hear the people in the north are getting it. So, but the results are not fully out yet. And how much are they getting? I don't know. Which other one has the government done that is actually positive action that you can name? I can't name any other one. No. Local government and student loans. If you know anyone, you can put it in the chat so that I can highlight it, because I'm struggling to see the kind of policy that they are pursuing, how this is going to help the economy. The only thing that's going to help the economy is what Dangote has done. It's not the government. It's not the government at all. Well, we'll see anyway. And they did everything to even sabotage Dangote. So let me go to the next this news item. The next one we talked about was okay. This one is just on the side. This was not one of the major headlines. I think which one is one of the major headlines? That one is for the We've done this in World Bank one. We've done the Yahya Sinwar one, the Hamas leader that was killed. We've done that one. And now we can go to the one for the. I think there was a conversation about currency devaluation. Are you trying to have the platform by yourself for others? It's just. I guess I can bring you on later. Let me just go through the headline, but it's going to be brief. Because I'm not, it's just to cover the headlines and then we'll go away. Then maybe some other stream will come online. So let me see this one for Harris. Let's cover the Harris one first, then we'll come back to the Chief of Army Staff being away. I won't be on. I won't be on that. I won't be that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me play this.
Unfriendly territory and doing a nearly half an hour interview with Fox News. And it was heated from the very first moment. Didn't start in like slow and sort of friendly. No, from the very first moment till the very end.
How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a
which
number?
is-
Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point.
So your
And-
Homeland Security Secretary said that 85%
Well,
of
I'm not
apprehensions.
finished. I'm not finished. We have
It's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question. I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came
May
in
I
ship for
please
the
finish?
yes,
May
ma'am.
I finish responding,
But
please?
here-
All right, that was right from the beginning. It was tense and it continued. At one point, Harris visibly angry. She was railing against Trump and his threat to target what he has called the enemy from within.
He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
He was asked
No,
about that
no,
specific.
that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and
I'm telling
respect
you,
to
that was the
you,
question that we asked him.
he didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake.
All right, the clenched teeth, the passion, Harris not backing down from a fight. And, you know, you talk about an interview like this, nearly 30 minutes. There's a reason she chose to do this, and there is a lot at stake in an election that the polls show to be neck and neck. So the question is, what did this interview do, and did it win Harris any new votes? All right, and everyone is here with me now to talk about that. So let me ask you about that, Congressman Rose. What do you think in terms of her doing this? I mean, she went in this eyes wide open. Sure. I mean, so let's just say, I don't know how much time Brett Baier was given in the interview, but he didn't start off with a general question. He started right in on immigration, and she came right back. I mean, there was no sort of pretense at geniality.
There was no build-up.
No.
No. And, you know, we had a fascinating conversation about 30 minutes ago, right? You know, because this is fresh. This was an hour ago. And you know, my friend is saying, oh, this was horrible. It was horrible. She did horribly, this and that. I thought that was an absolute home run because the audience.
This friend right here next to you that you're talking about?
This friend right here. You know, oh my God, it was a fire. It was a massacre. No, that was a home run. because she sent the one message that needs to be sent, which was, I will go anywhere at any time and show the courage necessary to speak to every American, because that's what a real president does. The primary critique against her prior to this point was that she was not doing enough interviews. No one thought that the Fox News interview was going to go swimmingly every step of the way. Everyone knew it would be adversarial, but she showed exactly what she needed to show, which was that she is a leader ready to be president on
Did
day
he just
one.
convince you?
No, and I love Max. He's a great guy. The reality is she's just now doing this. I told the former congressman, if I were advising the vice president, I would not have advised this unless my internals suggested that I was in trouble. You're looking to appeal to, I assume, some maybe moderate-leaning Republicans, maybe some Republicans who aren't necessarily tied to the former president. I don't think she's persuaded them.
So it looks like Harris did okay, and I think I've always thought Democrats should have gone to Fox News often when running for office. I don't know why they avoid Fox News. I don't know why you are scared of answering questions if you don't have anything to hide. You know, he said there's no such thing as moderate Republicans. I think there are moderate Republicans that like Liz Cheney can be said to be moderate, isn't it? I think is she not the one that is into the LGBTQ stuff? So the black guy is looking for a pope. So yeah, it looks like she did okay. I think the way she came across was quite good. But what I don't like about Harris is this thing that they do in the US, Pansat. How is it that they are so beholden to this warlike culture? It's like unbelievable. Some of the things that they are doing. Look at what they have engineered in the Middle East, and they've engineered in Ukraine. Left for them, they would have engineered one in Taiwan too. They just, remember it was Pelosi that went to Taiwan to even make the Chinese get a little bit excited about that. I don't know what is wrong with these people. Sometimes they talk like they are the peaceniks, but they tend to trigger a lot of wars. So yes, Liz Cheney comes from a conservative background, but they are voting for Harris because Trump hates them. Yes, Trump definitely hates them, and it's a mutual hatred. These are people that hate each other because they believe that Trump is threatening them too. Trump is dangerous to an extent, and Trump doesn't believe in what they believe in. Trump wants to upend the whole equation. They believe they need to keep Russia at bay. Trump doesn't believe that. In other words, they believe in what they call the Mackinder thesis. The Mackinder thesis is to keep Russia at bay. Otherwise, Russia will take over the world. But Trump doesn't believe in that. Trump believes in bringing Russia in. And that is a big problem. And that is the struggle you are seeing in America today, where Trump is more racialized. He prefers people of his own kind. And that's why he doesn't like China. He's not a big fan of China. Remember the Chinese flu that he calls it, Chinese flu. And, the Chinese were worried at one point that he was even going to attack them when he lost the election. So you can see that Trump is not very fond of people that are not like him. But that said, this is what Hillary is facing now. And it looks like Trump is picking up in the polls. Trump may actually go on to win this. And in short, when I heard Jared Kushner on the news today, man, my God, I was thinking, oh my God, this is what I hate most about Trump, because some of the people around him too are some diabolical people. In short, America, the political class right now are full of diabolical characters. Really diabolical character. They have I don't know whether they sold America out or they are secretly working an American agenda. I just feel like they are destroying America's reputation completely with some of their practices lately. This war in the Middle East, Ukraine war, that is not going anywhere. They just support some horrible loss of life for no justifiable reason. They just support it so much. And if you look at what Jared Kushner is saying, he was saying that they should remove the Gazans from there and just put them in some wherever they want to put them. I don't even know. Just find somewhere to stuff them in, and that should be fine. That is his whole approach to the Gaza conflict. That the area where Gazans live, it has a beachfront. That those places, they could be used for all kinds of stuff. That they can move the Gazans to the Gobi. Well, I don't know what desert. I think there's a desert in Israel that is saying they should move them to. So I don't know, man. Those are people. If they get into office, this whole thing can get out of control very quickly. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. It's less than a month from now, so we'll see how that shakes out. So the next topic I wanted to cover as a kind of roundup for the week is this issue of our chief of army staff. Unfortunately, he has fallen ill. Nobody likes your leaders falling ill. It's not a good thing that you have leaders that are sick. The issue now is that I gather that he's gone overseas again. When I say again, I mean one more of our leaders have gone overseas again. We'll have to stop streaming to Dr. Damins. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was reading that. So he's gone overseas and he's getting treatment overseas, and people are concerned that we have our president overseas. I don't know where Shetima is. I think people were saying Shetima is nowhere to be seen to. I don't know whether he's gone overseas too. Why is it that our leaders keep running overseas? It is this overseas business, and I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even be asking why is it that our leaders run overseas. I should be asking why is it that Nigerians allow them to do this? Why do we keep allowing them to do this about things that they are doing? And it's not only the leaders, maybe the elites too. It's a culture now where if you want to go to that area where the vast majority of the people never have been, you disappear into a kind of metal tube that the poor people only see in the sky. And when they see it in the air, most people don't go to the airport. They don't know what the airport is like. All they see is, those our leaders are going again. They are coming again. They're going again. It's so sad, really. They just keep leaving their people behind, and their people don't have any life. Most of them are poor. I said it now when I was in Nigeria, when I saw the way Nigerians were living, many of them were living like just downright animals, really. And I don't know if you look at it, I don't even understand how Nigerians that have been overseas, that are educated and everything, accept this type of way of life, especially the ones that have been in office. You would think they should be the one coming back home and feeling so embarrassed and feeling like, okay, you know what, we can't do this. We can't go overseas and see people living a totally different life and come back home and leave our people like this. We will not tolerate it. I don't know how they cannot feel that way, but somehow they tolerate their people suffering so badly. Let me share this link with Pansat so that we just have a brief conversation and then go away. Pansat, let's not talk about, let's not get divisive now, because we have an issue here where the events around the world is shaping in itself, and it's troubling me a lot, actually, that we in Nigeria are not that ready to deal with some of all these issues. We are not ready at all to pull our weight in the world. In a world where you can't buy pagers now without thinking twice. In a world where you watch cities getting flattened, we have been conditioned now to watch one person getting killed and more than 100 people get killed along with that person. We've been conditioned to accept that, and that is normal. Do you know that 2 years ago that would be outrageous? Can you imagine Russia wanted to kill one person and they kill hundreds of people around that area because of that one person? Like, let's say they wanted to kill the head of Wagner and they killed 300 people around that I thought I've forgotten his name. There will be major outrage, but now it's normal for people to lose their life. 20 people die here, 10 people die here, just on and on and on and on. We've been conditioned to accept this, and who knows? From what I hear, Israel is going to retaliate, attack Iran, and if that gets out of control, God help us. But one thing I can say for Dangote is that it was the right time that he got his refinery working, because at the rate things are going, Dangote is going to make a killing. If I was him, I would be just looking to make my $20 billion that I invested very, very quickly while all this trouble is going on. But we'll see how that goes anyway. Welcome, Pansat.
Yeah, to Niger. Thank you very much. You set up great graphics here, so people don't know you're on. I just happened to stumble across and saw your show. But let me say you want to get along with me, but you can't be talking that way. For example, the last thing you talked about. The rest of the politics is okay. Like the Dangote thing, I just want you to set aside for now. But on the politics here in the United States, the poll, right? The polling, everything is corrupt. In those days, maybe in the 50s and 60s, they do sampling, they do a poll, and they're trustworthy. But polls, especially in the last days of an election, is nothing but propaganda too. Even here in this country, it's unbelievable. So it's hard to know. Harris.
So, but what is your instinct? What is it telling you? Who do you think is ahead at the moment?
Okay, so now we have to look at two things. One is to talk about who is going to win the election. The other thing is, who do I want to win the election, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's a very big toss-up between Harris and Trump for me. Trump was a very good president because he came in as a non-politician, right? When it came down the escalator in 2016, thereabout. And he was knocking the Clintons and he was knocking the Bushes at the time, who were political dynasties in the country. You couldn't get rid of either one of them. So Trump, then everybody looked at him as somebody who's going to go into that system and rejiggle it, throw out those who have been corrupted into the system, like what we need now in our country. So he was doing that very well, but for whatever reason, he allowed himself to be pushed by the Democrats then to choose sides. Then he went all the way right to cavort with people that would have voted for him anyway, receipts, all kinds of things, because he himself wasn't really looking at it as a race thing. He came in, he wanted to make America great again. Now, who's going to disagree with that? He want to make America great again. But he tried. Then he had a COVID thing coming. I'm just trying to tell you some of the reason why Harris is now better, right? So at the time, Trump made a couple of mistakes, 2.5 mistakes. The first mistake is that a cop nailed on a black man's neck and killed him in front of the TV, on TV. Yeah, in America.
You're talking about George Floyd?
Yes. Okay. So he comes out talking nonsense, right? Instead of him being like an American president, he's going to say, look, the cops usually are good. It's a lot of good cops, but we're not going to put up with this. Do you understand? The whole world was stunned and shocked. So he's, using code words saying, I'm with the cops. As we can see, the cops also went after him when the Biden administration used the cops to go after him. So he's crying about the government going after him unfairly, and that's true too. But anyway, so he made a mistake in that case because he's pandering to the far right, useless racists in the far right. But his economy was good under him. He genuinely wanted NATO to pay their fair share. He wanted Mexico and Canadians not to take the jobs in the United States or have manufacturers go to Mexico and all that. Ally should be ally. Do you understand? Ally doesn't mean you have to take advantage of us, like Canadians do here every day, right? The next door, they have no respect. All they do is live off of us, actually. And they have no respect for America. They have the King of England is the head of state, believe it or not. Next door to us. If it was a black
I don't think that's the case in Mexico,
It's not the case in Mexico. I'm just knocking Canada for now. Then I'm gonna knock Mexico. But I'm saying if it was a black nation next to America and they have a monarchy from God knows where, I guess where you are over there, being their king, right? Would America put up with that? They won't put up with that. And Canada is a vast land. They have a lot of land.
You know what? I can't remember Canada still being the queen or king still being the head of Canada. I can't remember.
Yeah, believe it or not, that's their king now. I could see when they had the grandma, queen, right? So who's gonna knock a grandma? So I said to myself, once these childs come in, they're gonna get rid of them, right? Canadians are gonna go Democratic. They haven't gone Democratic. Australia, the same thing. I don't know what it is, right? There's no difference between Britain and Iran. They don't pick their head of state. Republicans in that country where you are, they can vote for the head of state. And they say, now I am digressing a little bit to say the following to Niger. Don't come on here with all these kind of topics you have and you don't want controversy. It's going to be controversial, but it's going to be true. That's what I owe you.
Yeah.
Controversial truth, but I will make it short because the topics you have really have nothing to do with all that. But I'm saying that Trump was good, but unfortunately they were able to get him by moving him all the way to the right to where Trump is no longer Trump. Trump is now like one of these right wingers, right? And I know it's not in the heart. So that's why I'm saying, even if Trump wins, it's still okay. Maybe he's salvageable. Or maybe he's not consumed by anger.
But exactly. He's threatening a lot of things when he gets into office. This guy may be out of control, when he gets into office.
Who's that?
Trump.
Trump, yeah. But it's not really, this is a mature democracy. There's checks and balances. He couldn't do, for example, what he's huffing off and puffing off. He cannot do that because he'd be impeached and removed from office. He was impeached last times, but he wasn't removed from office because, they weren't serious stuff. Now, and because the Democrats went and made it like he's taking bribes from Russia, in essence, when they charge him with something, people are waiting to see a videotape of Trump taking bribes, doing things, and then they bring silly charges, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happened in that case. But on the issue of Hamas, now you started the show and you made a good comment where you said, "Hey, look, you have a just cause. You're fighting for your people. You're fighting for your land. Why be a terrorist, right?"
Yeah.
So, and that's a very good question because it goes all the way to our country, right? These people, right? They would have been enjoying the sympathy of the world, but nobody really has that sympathy. Some of us will have empathy for them, right? But the point is that they have their religion tied up with their politics. Christianity used to be that way until the 16th century. We went through a reformation. You see what I'm saying? If they would modernize a bit, you don't go and grab on October 7th, I don't know how many Israelis and other people from other countries, they grabbed over 1,200 or something like that. And so that's terrorism. Now, they're not supposed to be quiet boys, like he said, if you're being occupied, but it's not the beginning of your thing, though. You've been committing terrorism for a long time. You support that culture, you support that tradition. It goes all the way to Nigeria, it goes to every Islamic country. They're going to have to modernize, stop being terrorists and play fair so that you have sympathy of the world. If you know what's going on in our country right now, it's not different from what's going on over there. But anyway, does that then justify Netanyahu and Israel going over there committing?
It doesn't. It doesn't. You see, but the issue I have is, Hamas knows that America is on the side of Israel. That is it. And short, Hamas. Israel is on the side of America is on the side of Israel. Hamas is aware of it. The issue for me is that if you are aware of such a thing, why would you approach the stuff in a way that they can be able to malign you with the tag of terrorism? You want to approach it from the point. As a matter of fact, why are you approaching from the point of view that you want to destroy Israel or something like that? Approach it sensibly, so that they don't have, because the UN, the whole world wants to be on your side. If you want to approach, you are the strong one. Okay, Fatah is weak. You are the one that can fight Israel. So approach it from the point of view that, okay, I can fight Israel. I'm going to say I want two-state solution. If they refuse, I will attack the military of Israel, and that is a legitimate
target.
It's a legitimate target in terms of being able to resist occupation. If you do that, by now his death will not be the kind of way they are calling terrorists. It will be different. You say, "Oh, freedom fighter for Palestinians is gone," and it will be different. You can't malign him then as much, and it will be hard for the West to make a case. How are you going to tag him a terrorist when he's busy resisting? It's very hard to do that. You can't do anything.
That is true. And you know, the point though is that the United States, you have to differentiate between administrations. You have to differentiate between the American people who are quite savvy and fair and the administration. They're two different animals, right? So this administration shocked everybody by the way first of all, the kid glove that they're handling Netanyahu, right?
Yeah.
Who talks to America anyhow. Why? Because of who we have there. Because in that administration, you also have people who are of the Jewish descent, maybe the Secretary of State and all that. I'm not saying that they necessarily have to be doing things based on that, but we're human beings, right? So what I'm saying is that Biden himself, he's a Zionist, right? He made statements like that. Now, there's nothing wrong with all that. All I'm saying is that today you could go to college campuses and you could see people supporting the Palestinian cause, right? In the past, in the past, that's probably anathema. That wasn't easy to do. So, but the Palestinians, they get all kinds of support, even from the United States. If you check it, they may still be receiving most of their, what do you call it? You know, philanthropic donations and all kinds of stuff, both from the American people and the American government. So what they have to do, let's just talk about, here's my suggestion for both Israel and Palestine to stop. Okay, use this opportunity. You've killed their leader. You killed a lot of people. The leaders of people in Lebanon, right? Hezbollah. You've done a lot. You've done a lot of damage to these terrorist organizations. And then also, Hamas tried to start to show the white flag.
Yeah.
Release the hostages. Start off, maybe you start releasing from, but try to show you can't defeat people who are stronger than you. The Israelis, they have a lot of firepower. They have a lot of technology. That goes to what you're talking about when you see the pager. In order for them to release that kind of technology, that they have that ability, means they have something more that's more clandestine. That's where America.
I think what is going on here is that it's not necessarily. I don't subscribe to the idea that it's Israel that is doing it. It's America that is doing all these things. People just think it's Israel. America is the one funding them. Israel, according to one American general, he says Israel is an unsinkable aircraft carrier. That's what Israel is for them. They are using Israel to control that region, and all this capability. That's why they give Israel so much money, so that Israel will get all these capabilities, and they will use Israel to be most of the stuff that is going on. America is using to send signal to leaders, including African leaders, Nigerian leaders. Say, you see what can happen to you if you get in our way. This is what we can do to you. All these things.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that? Is there something wrong with that?
What is wrong with that is it's immoral to hold a people hostage the way they are doing. I understand that world powers want to hold, they have this in where they have to control their sphere of influence. But why would you use Palestinians as this has been going on for 50-something years or more? It's too much. You can't keep torturing the people for that long.
Yeah, but you were a student of Machiavelli, right? And you know, in international politics, the strong do what they want to do, pretty much. Nature abhors a vacuum. Somebody has to be the worst policeman, right? And that person right now is the United States. And unfortunately, you cannot judge this issue in just a one go. You have to make it segment by segment. Do you follow what I'm saying? For example, we can just as an example, October 8th or 7th, Hamas was wrong, and condemned for terrorism. Right? But before that, maybe 30 years before that, Israel is wrong for occupying them for so long. So when you start judging or taking their lands according to whatever the United Nations
wrong
have
for
decided,
occupying them now.
It's still wrong. But that's what I'm saying. You cannot do the trick to deal with these two characters, right? Because they think they're clever, right? Some of them are wrong sometimes. Some of them are right sometimes. I mean, none of them is right anytime, but some of them are wrong sometimes. You follow what I'm saying? So the Israelis should not occupy their lands the way they're doing, especially the ones that are demarcated and say, okay, this is theirs.
Yes.
Even though they are committing terrorism there, but they still have to use their head and do the right thing, right? Don't let them commit terrorism against you, but don't have a brutal occupation for so long.
Exactly.
So but that's not what we're talking about here. Right now, there's two things we're deciding. Number one, what happened on October 7th, right? 2022. Or was it 2023? 2023, I believe, yeah. That was terrorism that's unacceptable. Over 1,200 people, right?
Yeah.
Brutally. And then the response, Israeli response to that terrorism is likened to a genocide. That is unacceptable in this day and age.
Yep.
So we have to hold both sides on the one issue.
Funny enough,
the cause and then effect. Both,
let me add now. Both Yahya Sinwar and I've forgotten the name of the other Hamas leader that was indicted by the International Criminal Court. Israel has killed two of them, but Netanyahu is still alive, and this is, I think, one of the Gans or something that is still alive that the International Criminal Court is looking for. So they've killed the other side. The other side that
the funny thing about that is that's why monarchy is not a good thing. Okay, you have Saudi Arabia. I bet you people in Saudi, they're boiling, but they can't do anything because they have their monarch. I mean, they have the monarchy there, right? So Israel,
problem.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Arab countries are so quiet.
They're so quiet, and
so
they've been effeminated. The balls cut off because
God.
Israel knows going forward. It's like sure they're doing protesting. The government knows he buys into that. No violence, right? If you tell the government that with no violent protest, we're going to obey the law, then what incentive do they have? See, Israel is going in there knowing fully well that United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, even next door to them, there, Jordan, Kuwait, all these people, right? They're not going to get upset. Pakistan has the nuclear bomb, right? Pakistan is an Islamic state. They have the bomb. Iran, all these people. They already have all these people who the people cannot express themselves and get upset and overturn their government. They're not a democracy. That's why democracies don't fight themselves.
Pansat, I have to round up. You know,
Okay.
I didn't know that this guy had a stream actually, because I was streaming from my channel, so I didn't see the list of the people that are streaming. So I didn't know electricity has started a stream. So this was supposed to be 1 hour anyway, and
okay.
it's just a weekly news update. I want to be doing it every week so that people can be catching on.
It's a great concept. Yeah, it's a good, but you need a panel to discuss it. And next time we'll be ready.
Okay.
But before
Thank
you
very
go,
much.
I'm gonna post certain clips for you on the comment section, right? Because you're interested in security and all that. There's a guy, a very good Nigerian, I think he's from the north, that does a lot of quality investigative journalism, right?
Yes.
You really need to see this guy. Let me just post. His name is Dan Bello.
Dan Bello.
Yeah.
Dan Bello. Nigeria.
You would be. I mean, this guy. You should do some kind of collaboration with him so we can work on some of his. Because he's a good storyteller. He's fair. He talks about most of the stuff. Now, the major one I wanted to talk to you about is our steel industry, because nobody can develop without steel.
Panzer, we have to round up because of time. I want to keep it strictly around 1 hour or so.
Okay, go ahead.
And besides, there's another stream on. I don't want electricity won't like it that I'm streaming while he's streaming. Normally, it's not supposed to clash. But I missed
but
it
check out the guy's YouTube, not the Google. I'm not the.
Is this him?
Yeah, think so.
Perfect. I will look him up.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you for coming in, Pansa. Thank you very much. And obviously, we are going to be on panels again sometime this week. I hear Showore is coming in on Sunday, so that will be good to hear from him. I don't know, maybe he's linked to that channel, but at least he's going to be showing up on Dr. Damages, and maybe you want to prepare what you have to ask him and how it's going to go. All right then. Thank you for joining us. I'll be rounding up the show now. Till next time. Bye everyone. Let me play us out. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Thank you for joining us.
I posted that thing for you on the screen for the YouTube of the guy. All right.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, come on.